So guys, we shall be now discussing about the superior as well as inferior mesenteric artery branches. So I have already explained in my previous lectures, so I want you to look at those lectures. But before that, all of you know one very important thing. Let us say this is your abdominal aorta, right? So I told you abdominal aorta will be divided into two branches. Now I have explained this in a lecture of abdominal aorta, so I want you to watch that video before watching this. Okay, so in this abdominal aorta you have got many different things. Okay, so let me just roughly tell you a few important things. So we have got, this is called as T12. Okay, this area is called as T12, and we have got the level, let us say L1. Okay, we have got L2, we have got L3. Okay, now actually there is an artery that is coming from L1. Okay, there is an artery that is coming from this L1 in this way. Now this artery is called as superior mesenteric artery. Okay, there is another artery that is coming in this way at the level of L3. This is called as inferior mesenteric artery. So this will be your superior mesenteric artery, and this will be your inferior mesenteric artery. So we have got two arteries. One is called as a superior mesenteric artery and the other one is called as the inferior mesenteric artery. Okay, now we shall be looking at the branches of superior as well as inferior mesenteric artery. So now we shall be mainly concentrating on the branches of the superior and inferior mesenteric artery. Now before that, let me draw some things, guys. All of you know that this part what I am drawing right now, let us say this part is your cecum. Okay, now hanging down from that you have got appendix. After that you have got this colon which I am drawing right now, and I am drawing it ascendingly. So this is called as ascending colon. And you have got something called as transverse colon. So this part of the colon is called as transverse colon. And after that you have got this colon here. This is called as a descending colon. Okay, and finally you have got sigmoid colon like this, and after the sigmoid colon you have got rectum and anus. Okay, this is the thing which you need to know. And in between this entire thing is your large intestine. Now in the center you have got small intestine like ileum as well as jejunum. Now I won't draw this ileum and jejunum. Instead of that I'll just put up the things like this. So I'll just draw it in this way. Okay, so this is how I will draw, right? And this is called as iliocececal junction, where the ileum joins with the cecum. Okay, now let you basically think that half of this is jejunum, and after that we have got here ileum, right? Half of that is jejunum and half of this is ileum. Okay, so now let me put a line, small line, partition line, that upper half is jejunum and the lower half is the ileum. Okay, now look here. Here we have got an aorta, and all of you know that this is the abdominal aorta. Now this abdominal aorta is coming down all the way like this, right? So this is the abdominal aorta which comes down all the way. And finally abdominal aorta is dividing into two branches over here. Okay, so this picture you are aware of. Now at the level of L1 I told you there was an artery here, and this artery is called as superior mesenteric artery, right? So let me put this artery little bit down. So this was your superior mesenteric artery at the level of L1. Let me write it down. At the level of L1 you have got superior mesenteric artery. Now this superior mesenteric artery gives out few branches, guys. Keep one thing in mind, that this part of the colon is ascending colon. Or where is ascending colon present, on the right side or on the left side? Ascending colon is present on the right. It ascends up like this. This is the transverse colon and this is the descending colon. So ascending colon is on the right, descending colon is on the left. So I can also call this as right side of the colon or right colon. Okay, and I can also call this as left colon. And in the same way I can call this as the middle colon or mid colon. Okay, now let us go into the branches of each and everything. So there is an artery, guys. From the superior mesenteric artery, it is a branch, okay? It is a branch of superior mesenteric artery. Now this artery is coming down all the way. It is coming down all the way and it is making a turn like this. A turn at where? Turn at the 𝐒𝐫𝐢𝐻𝐫𝐞 junction where the ileum is joining the cecum. Okay, it is making a turn there. And after that, it supplies this region. It supplies this region, right? So I will write down the names later, but let me tell you the name of this artery. So this is artery 1. This is called as 𝐒𝐫𝐢𝐻𝐫𝐞 artery because it supplies to the ileum. At the same time, it even supplies to the ascending colon. So you call this artery as 𝐒𝐫𝐻𝐽𝐻 artery. Okay. So this artery is called as 𝐒𝐫𝐻𝐽𝐻 artery. So let me write it down. This artery is called as 𝐒𝐫𝐻𝐽𝐻 artery. Okay. Now the next artery is that there is an artery that is going all the way. I mean, it is also a branch of superior mesenteric artery. Okay. So it is going all the way onto the right and it divides into two. So one branch comes downwards and the other branch goes upwards like this. So whatever it is, if it is dividing or not dividing, that is not our problem. But what is the important thing is that this artery is supplying all these branches. It means it is supplying in this way, you know. Look here, it is supplying the entire right side of the colon. So this is named as artery number 2. Okay, this is named as artery number 2, and as it is supplying to the right side of the colon, you call this artery as the right colic artery. This is called as the right colic artery. Next important thing is that there is a branch that is going onto the top and it divides like this and it supplies to your entire it is supplying to your entire middle part of the colon. So that is why it is called as middle colic artery. So artery number 3 is called as middle colic artery. Okay, middle colic artery. Artery number 3 is middle colic artery. So these are the 3 branches of superior mesenteric artery. If someone asks you what are the branches of superior mesenteric artery, there are actually 3 branches. Okay, what are these 3 branches? One is iliocolic artery, another one is right colic artery, the next one will be middle colic artery. But one very important thing you need to remember is that from iliocolic artery, a branch comes all the way down and it will surround this, this branch is surrounding the appendix, right? So a branch of iliocolic artery which is coming out and surrounding the appendix. So this branch of iliocolic artery is called as appendicular artery. This is called as appendicular artery. I hope this is clear for you, right? So these are the branches of superior mesenteric artery. These are the branches of superior mesenteric artery. Okay. Now next, let us look at the branches of inferior mesenteric artery. Where is the inferior mesenteric artery? Inferior mesenteric artery is located at IMA. Inferior mesenteric artery is located at the level of L3. Right? Now what are the branches of inferior mesenteric artery? Look here. Let us say this part over here is called as your inferior mesenteric artery. Okay? And one more thing, I forgot to tell you that iliocolic artery even gives out small branches which supply to the ileum. It even gives small branches which supply to the jejunum. These are called as jejunal arteries and iliac arteries. These are not that important, but just remember these 3 guys. These are very, very important. Okay, these will be enough. So on the left side of the colon also we have to supply the blood, right? So this branch is not left. This is called inferior colic artery. This is called as inferior colic artery. Now this inferior colic artery will give out some branches. Now what are these branches? I will draw all these branches with a green color. Okay, what are these branches? Now one branch goes all the way like this and it supplies to your sigmoid colon. Okay, so this artery is called as sigmoid artery. So artery number 1 is your sigmoid artery. Sigmoid artery because it is supplying to your sigmoid colon. Okay, next artery. The next artery goes to the left colon. It divides like this and it supplies your entire left colon. Okay, and this is called as, that is the artery number 2 is called as the left So if that was on the superior mesenteric branch which was supplying the right side was called as right colic artery, then the inferior mesenteric branch which was supplying the left colon is called as the left colic artery. Left colic artery. The last one, a branch directly comes down and supplies to your rectum. A branch directly comes down and supplies to your rectum. So this is called as a rectal artery, but it is supplying from the top of the rectum, from the superior surface of the rectum it is supplying, right? It is supplying onto the top surface of the rectum, right? The superior surface of the rectum. So you call this as superior rectal artery. Call it as superior rectal artery. Okay, so what are the three branches of inferior mesenteric artery? These are the three branches of inferior mesenteric artery. Okay, these are the three branches of inferior mesenteric artery. Clear? So these are the three branches of inferior mesenteric artery. Next important thing you need to know is that if you see where is the connection between superior and inferior mesenteric artery. So if you observe carefully, this is the place where the branches of superior mesenteric artery and the branches of inferior mesenteric artery, both of them are connected to each other, isn't it? You see this place, this yellow color rounded place which I am highlighting, this is the place where the superior and inferior mesenteric artery, they join together, right? So this point where they are joining together, this is called as Griffith point. Griffith point. And next important thing is that this particular junction where sigmoid artery as well as the left colic artery is there, between the sigmoid as well as the left colic artery, this junction is called as 𝐮𝐸𝐻 point. This point is called as 𝐮𝐸𝐻 point. Okay, this is called as 𝐮𝐸𝐻 point, whereas this is called as the Griffith point. Okay, so these are the important things you need to know. And next important thing, what is the next important thing? Next important thing is that I told you that the abdominal aorta will divide into two branches. And what are these two branches, guys? These two branches are called as common iliacs. Okay, now these common iliacs will in turn divide into two more branches. What are they? Which is coming inside like this is called internal iliac, which is going outside like this is called external iliac. So what is this branch over here? This is called as external iliac, and this is called as the internal iliac. Okay, let me write it on to the side. This is called as the internal iliac artery. One is called as the internal iliac artery as well as the external iliac artery. Now external iliac artery will continue below the inguinal ligament as femoral artery. That is a different story. But coming to internal iliac artery, you have to know one very important thing is that this internal iliac artery whatever is there, this internal iliac artery will in turn give two more branches like this. Internal iliac artery is giving two more branches. What are these two more branches? This is called as a posterior branch. This is called as the anterior branch. One is called as a posterior and another one is called as the anterior branch. Now what is this anterior branch? So this entirely is your anterior branch. Now anterior branch of internal iliac artery gives out two more arteries. Now this artery, whatever is there, right, now this artery is going all the way up and it is supplying to the middle part of the colon, whereas the next artery goes all the way up like this and supplies to your lower part of the colon. One is called as the middle rectal artery, which is supplying to the middle portion of the rectum, which is supplying to the lower portion of the rectum is called as inferior rectal artery. Okay, so what are the two arteries? So this artery is called as inferior rectal artery and this is called as the superior rectal artery. So what I am trying to tell you is that if you look at the rectum is supplied by three main arteries. One is called as superior rectal artery, another one is called as middle rectal artery, another one is called as the inferior rectal artery. Okay, superior rectal artery is supplied by inferior mesenteric artery. all of you know. Whereas middle and inferior are supplied by anterior branch. Anterior branch of what? Internal iliac. Internal iliac artery. So this is the important thing which you need to know here. Okay, so this is the entire discussion of the branches here. What are these branches which I have taught you? The branches of superior mesenteric artery, and the inferior mesenteric artery. Inferior mesenteric artery. So our topic of today's discussion is superior as well as the inferior mesenteric artery, right? Thank you so much.